NBA 2K really needs a competitor. Let's watch it.
Life. NBA 2K11 was my entry point into the world of basketball, becoming the reason why I ended up playing the sport, which essentially changed my teenage life from being a bit more introverted and staying mostly
Shout out
at home
Fireplace Gaming.
to being more outgoing and socializing with friends. So it's no stretch to say that NBA 2K changed my life, but it's also one of the worst game series I've ever played. Now, if you
Ooh, wait, that's a bold take.
great.
Okay.
I'm not telling you to stop. This
It's
is
a bold
just my
take.
personal gripe, and I encourage you to hear me out before you start crucifying me in the comments. Now, to illustrate the relevance of NBA 2K, let's take a look at some financials. According to Take-Two's 2023 annual report, two franchises made up the biggest chunk of their revenue. The first being Rockstar's more
GTA.
than Golden Goose GTA 5.
GTA.
And the second is NBA.
We ready for GTA 6, man?
Specifically, NBA 2K23.
How long is this video?
and 2K22.
I mean, how old is this?
In fact,
5 months ago?
NBA 2K
I wonder if this is a
holds the
re-upload.
largest
I
share
seen this
of
on
the
my
revenue.
recommended before.
So you can kind of see from this that the NBA franchise is actually no slouch when it comes to bringing over a lot of players. So how bad could it possibly be? The answer.
Do you think 2K is focused on making a good product or making money?
I don't think they're ever focused on making a good product.
I think
Flexing,
in
shout out Flexing.
2024, It's only making money.
It's just money.
Even G-Man, the retired, I thought he was retired. Even he's saying it's something about just money, bro. They need to get new companies to work on these sports games. Companies that actually care about the community, about the sport, about all of it. Creating a good game. They need to get new companies. 2K, EA, all of them. They gotta go. They gotta go. Or just give them competitors. Have other companies make basketball games or basketball, football, all of that. As far as I know, I don't know anything when it comes down to the situation with companies and NHL games or MLB games or all the other sports games. But when it comes down to 2K, Madden, and WWE, I know it's a cash grab and it's a problem. They need to get new companies to work on them, and that's just it.
It's a lot of fun, especially as a basketball
Because they
fan.
don't care.
It's really easy to get
It's just
into
cash
and learn
grabs.
the controls.
And WWE games
Play
getting
the
turned
games,
into one
you can
too.
create your own player and get drafted. You can manage your own team. There are so many aspects to the game that keep people coming back, including NBA players themselves. So what exactly is my problem with this franchise? Well, to illustrate this a bit,
That's
let's take a
2K19.
look at 4 clips from NBA 2K21, 22, 23, and 24. And I want you to tell me off the top of your head which NBA 2K is which.
Shit. Okay. This is 21. I can tell by the lighting. This is 22. Shit. I low-key feel like this is 24, but I think this is 24 also. Because of the lighting. Okay. This is 21. This is 22. This is 23. No. This is 24. This is 23.
Did you get it? Now, if you're saying
This is 24, 23, 20. Okay. Why did he actually put it in an order that would trick? You know what?
that you know which NBA is which,
I got 2 out of
either
4.
you're lying or, damn, you're really spending a lot of time on these games. In which
Okay,
case,
bro. This dude
kudos
just
to you.
called me a
No, but seriously,
loser.
listen, my problem with the series is that they're all essentially the same game. You can barely tell the difference year to year aside for a few small tweaks.
Like lighting,
Couple
which
of
is the only way I was able to tell the
changes in
difference.
Character models, maybe slight adjustments to the movements and animations, new licensed music, maybe more glistening sweat on the player's muscles, which is cool, I guess, but not exactly.
I hate that they keep adding sweat to the game, bro. That's so weird.
Major changes from time to time.
To me.
NBA 2K11 was the Michael Jordan edition, allowing you to play the best games of his career. 2K14 introduced the Park, which is the My Player hub where you can interact with other players and play online. NBA 2K16 had Spike Lee direct the background of the character.
Yes, sir.
You get the point, right? There are times when many cool stuff are being introduced that are objectively really exciting in theory. But the
In
problem
theory.
with a lot of these improvements is that the better ones are only done sparingly, And the ones that do get added year on year, most times only play a small part of the experience and aren't really explored more in later games. I personally liked how they introduced more commentary and the pre-game shows that
Me too.
simulated inside the NBA.
And they actually, yeah,
But
they
a lot
changed
of
the
these
shows
get
up,
pretty repetitive,
pre-game
and so the
and
novelty
post-game,
does
all of
wear
that.
off over time, especially if they reuse some dialogue in multiple games. In some cases, they actually hamper
They reuse
the
a lot of
experience the game,
dialogue.
like The City, which personally feels like an unnecessary way to bloat the game. I and many other players just want to play
Interesting.
basketball, and it's really annoying to see this kind of gameplay padding that I already don't.
See, I'm sorry to keep pausing. I don't know. This gonna turn into a thing. Everybody gonna get tired of it when I get a more of a community. Y'all gonna have to deal with it. I'll tell y'all now. Look, I'm gonna be honest, and I'm only pausing it because I don't want to talk over the video. Bro, as somebody who plays NBA, Madden, and WWE, and MLB, and NHL, I do. What is it? They gonna turn WWE into NBA 2K Junior. It's gonna be nothing but microtransactions and a cash grab, and I don't want to deal with that. I just want to play basketball. I just want to play football. I just want to play sports games. Like MLB, it's gonna sound crazy, and maybe it's not. MLB feels like the most sports game I have, because all I do roll to MLB, and just make a character. The grind actually pays off. The grind feels real. There's no transactions. You just like play the game, level up the character. Same with NHL. Then you got NBA, WWE currently, somewhat, and Madden, where you got NBA. You got to spend money. If you ain't spending money, you ain't getting no overall upgrades, unless you like go in like my league and make a character. Madden, you can't even do franchise mode and create a character no more. Like you legit have to play superstar mode. So you gotta grind for that. But it's not that much microtransactions. WWE, they brought the island to the game, and they're turning it into a microtransaction hell. There's nothing we can do about it. They need more. All of them need either competitors that can stand up with them, then get up with them, or they just need to be replaced. It's literally that simple.
In regular RPGs, let alone in a basketball game.
I'm gonna try to stop pausing it as much.
Buying what's essentially DLC type content and visual patches for $70, which is the current base price of the game, with the Hall of Fame edition being $150. Now the argument I expect here is something like Apple's business model. How come people don't complain when Apple releases the new iPhone 17 Pro Max All-Star Edition? Now, don't get me wrong.
Bruh.
I personally do not like how there's a new released Apple device every year. But at the very least, I don't expect that support for my current device will suddenly stop after 1 year, which is what usually happens to the rosters and the online servers of NBA 2K games. And it wouldn't have been so bad if the quality kind of just stagnates. But
Yeah.
the unfortunate thing about 2K is that things tend to get worse. With inflation, the obvious thing that gets worse over time is pricing.
Yep.
NBA's pricing model has generally followed 3 tiers over the recent years: a standard edition, a mid-tier upgrade, and a premium anniversary or Hall of Fame or insert.
Which you don't get much other than my team stuff and VC.
Upgrade that kind of gives you some form of value is the Hall of Fame edition, and only if you value NBA League Pass, because then you kind of get a discount on both the game and the pass, along with some season pass stuff that you can get. It's not great, but at the very least, it doesn't feel as scummy. But there are a number of things about the game that feel scummy in recent years. And the worst representation of this is how the game manages its in-game
Shout out iPod
currency
King Carter.
called VC. Back when I started playing, VC didn't
And Stacks
exist.
Montana.
You level up with skill points, and a lot of the cosmetic stuff came from finishing the Jordan challenges and other milestones. 2K13 became the first.
Yo, I didn't even think about it. I'm not gonna pause it this time. That's how you know it's getting bad. I'm pausing it. That's how you know it's getting bad. YouTubers are legit going back to games from the last decade. Not even through the 2020s. They're going back to games from the 2010s era and enjoying those more than they enjoy the newer games.
It used to be quite.
Yo, I gotta
reasonable
work on it, man.
earn so you could buy
That's how you know it's
stuff
getting
with the
bad.
game. But things have definitely changed over the years. Almost every year, the amount of VC you can earn from dailies or other objectives has been significantly reduced. This is paired with how items and upgrading your characters has also gotten more expensive, making it a substantial grind to buy anything or upgrade your character in the game. Just to give you an idea about how much time is being consumed, Badgeplug, who is a renowned 2K content creator on YouTube, actually made a video detailing how long it would take you to get from a 60 overall to 99 without buying VCs or doing my career. And spoiler alert, it's about 115 hours. Now, if you're an adult with a full-time job and possibly a family to support, 115 hours is a lot of time to dedicate.
That's a lot of time regardless.
You only have a few hours a week at best to dedicate to playing. But say you're fine with that grind. Well, now the problem is that if you're a fan of online play, many other players actually don't want to play with newer players with a low overall rating, effectively forcing you to buy VCs anyways if you don't want to be constantly left out of matches. In terms of single player stuff like my career, it's extremely difficult
to
Joe
Knows?
develop
Shout out Joe Knows.
From a 60 overall, as you're normally matched up against actual NBA players.
And Books.
I
think that's how you say his name.
So it can be very
that guy.
frustrating for more casual players to actually go through the non-paid route to developing their character. Now, talking about the pricing
Shout out Agent
actions will give us a good context into how much Take-Two's annual revenue actually comes from 2K, which is something we briefly touched on but never really went into detail about. According to a Wall Street Journal article in 2019, Take-Two paid around $1.1 billion to the NBA to extend their license for 7 years. Analysts claim that the amount paid ranges about 10 to 15% of the revenue gained from the game, maybe even higher. Now, if we work backwards, dividing $1.1 billion across 7 years, which is how long their licensing deal is, we get about $157 million per year. If $157 million is 15% of the annual revenue gained on the game, that brings us to around $1.05 billion a year. Now, only 2K employees are going to know the exact numbers. I could definitely be wrong, but I don't think I'm too far off considering that Take-Two earned more than $2 billion in 2019 and $3 billion in 2020. If we want to be even more nerdy about this, 2K reported that it sold about 12 million copies of 2K19. With a base price of $60.
That's what we're gonna do. For the sake of not making this video any longer than it needs to be, we're gonna skip to this part.
The problem is that there isn't a real solution to this, and it all comes down to the business model. I have to ask you, when was the last time you've seen another NBA game? Many older fans would of course refer to NBA Live.
NBA Live needs to come back. The comeback gonna be glorious.
Just a quick quiz.
For sure.
When was the last NBA Live published?
2019,
well,
2018.
The answer is 2019.
It was 18.
5 years ago.
Not 19.
Although
it was 19.
We
My
had
fault.
plans to make a 2020 NBA Live, this was cancelled as the focus shifted to the newer hardware of the PlayStation 5.
I wonder if they're still working on a new one. Because if they got a new NBA Live, I'm 100% switching.
Is a monopoly. Monopolies, 99% of the time, are bad. They control prices and have very little incentive to innovate.
Reacting to NBA 2K really needs a competitor. Isaiah, I need my footage game. I need my content. All right. I'm gonna get on that game in a minute. I need my content.
But you won't be improving to your full potential without some form of competition to push you.
I gotta add.
Oh no. Help me. Please help me.
How's the editing going
The
up?
response is twofold, and both aren't very feasible. The first is to introduce competition. This is a neat idea in theory. Give 2K a competitor and it will start to make improvements. But the problem is that this comes at the sacrifice of another potential company. Licensing the entire NBA roster is incredibly expensive, which in of itself is a huge deterrent already. But let's say you could afford to do that. What then becomes the issue is the immense pressure to make a better game than 2K. With an original IP, the need to succeed is there, but there's some room for flaws if your game or concept is
Some is crazy. It's a lot of
and
room for
then
flaws,
iterate
yeah.
again to make improvements.
Damn.
Franchises like Assassin's Creed did this, wherein the first game was fun, but had its flaws, and didn't become the worldwide phenomenon yet. But when AC2 got released and improved on basically every aspect of the first game, that's when it
Yo, they really
basically
making
blew up
an
into the
Assassin's
franchise
Creed
we
game
now
every
know,
6 months,
and
bro.
unfortunately, kinda despise.
I don't know
An NBA
how.
2K competitor does not have that luxury. The cost of licensing and marketing to create hype and acquire market share makes it absolutely necessary for the game to not just succeed, but succeed overwhelmingly. And if by some miracle you were able to create a 2K competitor that is better in every single way, Take-Two won't just sit down and cry about it. You can best bet that they'll put up every resource they have to make 2K the better game again. Now, in theory, this sounds fantastic. Isn't this what we wanted in the first place? Sure,
Yeah.
but there's a problem. Once there's good enough competition between products, it now becomes a war of attrition in that
Yo,
year
Xbox
after
ain't even
year,
keeping
you
up
have
with
to
PlayStation, and
constantly be
PlayStation ain't
better
even
than
keeping
your
up with
competitor.
PC. It is
We've
crazy,
seen an
bro.
example of the underdog rising up against the market leader with how AMD is now flooring Intel in the CPU space.
I got
But
that
there's
one.
also a side where the leaders
I got that
dominate,
one.
like how we see Nvidia beating AMD in GPUs. Take-Two isn't
Okay,
big enough
alright.
to compete anymore. What more if you're an entirely new company? Game series I've ever played at the start of my video, and well, the thing is, it didn't really start off this way. I've been playing NBA 2K for a good part of 14 years now. And sure, I didn't really play all of the editions because as a teenager and then as a college student, I couldn't really afford to buy games all the time. It's very hard for me to really see how this game that I love mechanically has turned into something that's just so filled with a lot of corporate shill and greed that it makes it very difficult to recommend to anybody else. But unfortunately though, without proper competition, the best I or any other player can really do is just hope. Because I truly want a great NBA game that doesn't ooze with corporate greed. But with the way things are, it's very hard
Telling
to
you,
expect
the answer
things
is
to
clear.
change.
Clear as
And if you
day.
enjoy the games,
Get another company to make the games. That simple. It ain't that easy, but it's that simple.